Welcome everyone to the Don Vic Show. We're back. I'm your host, Don Vic. Woo! Today we got a special guest coming on the show. Director, actor, screenwriter, Becca Spencer. We'll be talking to her in a little bit. I want to thank Bill Thompson for making that happen for me. So thank you, Mr. Bill Thompson. And we'll be talking to her in a few minutes. I sent her the link. I just want to come on a little, early and talk about, what's going on with them Celtics in Brooklyn, New York. We're at the finals. I don't know who's winning at this point, but I'll find out after the show. I hope the Celtics are winning, so big up the Celtics. Also want to thank Ulu Gomez for coming on the show. She was on the show a few minutes ago, and she was amazing. She's Hawaiian, and she's out of Puma, Hawaii. And she came down all the way from Hawaii to Las Vegas. That's where she currently stays now, and things are going great for her. So I'm happy for her, and I want to thank her for coming on the show, and thank Nicole Vegas for making that possible for us, for making the connection. And this is what I'm talking about, people. Tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend to log on to the Don Vic Show. And again, there's platforms for everybody. Everybody's welcome on the show. If you got something you want to say, if you're an actor, director, comedian, rapper, singer, I don't know, whatever it is that you want to come on the show and talk about, we'll set you up and we'll bring you on the show. You can talk about your talent on our show. So, and also big shout out to all the paranormal teams around the world. Big shout out to Africa, Nigeria, Colombia, Florida. Shout out to the whole world, man. They tune in on the Don Vic Show and share it and support it. Big shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. And also, I hope you guys are having a great Easter as well. Today is Easter, and I know a lot of people are out there enjoying their day. My eyes are burning today. I'm just not feeling good today. I got a cold. My eyes are burning. But other than that, we're here today waiting to talk to Becca Spencer and see what she got going on in her life right now. So, just bear with me till she comes aboard and we'll start the show. Shout out to Ken Allen as well, too. Ken Allen was on the show not too long ago. Great guy. Also, big shout out to Parapost Network for having us on their network. My man, Brian Lavardi. Big shout out to Brian for, having us on the show, too. It's another platform where you can watch our show besides YouTube and Facebook Live. We on Parapost Network. You guys can watch it. You can watch all the paranormal teams on that page. Even if you love Sasquatch, Bigfoot, they're now going in there. And I just thought I seen something about encounter, like people probably investigating space or something like that. That'll be great too. But other than that, out here it's a little chilly. It was raining earlier. I gotta find a warmer place. You know what I mean? Oh, the sinus is killing me. Whew, my eyes are burning right now. Big shout out to Jennifer Dawn, also WFTP Radio. You can find her on YouTube. You can also find my brother Bakar Radio also on YouTube platform. You can send your music to either one, uh, WFTP Radio with Jennifer Dawn and Bakar Radio, my man Raheem. Send your music to them, and they will play it on their radio station. Give you some love. Okay. And also, just seen recently, Shauna Gibson was out with my friend Star Bentley and Mary Angel in the event. I believe her brother Tyrese Gibson showed up at the event. He was out there, so that must have been fun. Um, so big shout out to Shauna Gibson, her brother Tyrese Gibson, Star Bentley, and Mary Angel, and everybody else that was out there enjoying that event. I need glasses. You see the glasses that's making my eyes burn, or not sure what it is, or this cold that I'm catching. So we're still waiting on Becca Spencer. I sent her the link. Oh, there she goes. Talking about him. She popped up like ghost. You gotta watch what you wish for, guys. Because things do happen. All right, let me put on these fake eyeballs of mine because these ain't even my glasses. I bought this at CVS for like $2 and I'm still blind. So, guys, finally got Becca Spencer. Again, she's an actor, director, screenwriter, and who knows what else she does. This woman's like, seems like she does a lot of things. So we're gonna bring her to the show. We're gonna talk to her and find out exactly what she has going on. All right. Hold on a second. Where is my mouse? Oh, there you go. People, please welcome Becca Spencer to the show.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good now that you're here.
Oh, yeah, I saw the thing with your glasses and all that. I understand. I'm the same way.
um, let me just show you something real quick, Becca.
Okay.
Okay. Because, I am a blind bat, right, as we speak. But look.
Are those shades?
Look, there's glasses all over my desk, and none of them I can use to see. Okay, these are all shades. But anyway, with that being said, I want to thank Bill Thompson for connecting us. He's a great guy, and he was, recently on the show. That's how we connected.
Yes.
And he spoke very highly of you.
Yes.
So I'm glad to have you on the show.
Glad to be here.
Oh, thank you. So, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
This is always the awkward part for me. Is like when they say, "Becca, tell me about yourself."
Okay, we can change it. We can change the question. Are you a screenwriter?
No, that's all right. No, yeah, I'm Becca, Becca Spencer. I'm an actor, writer, producer, and soon to be director. So, yeah. And I'm very much into arts, as you can see, and I'm a yoga instructor. So I know.
Yes, I see that. Okay, that's like your career, right? That's like what you're.
Well, it's not a career; it's more of a passion. I love teaching. I probably teach for free, but yeah, my career is the acting, writing, filmmaking. So.
Oh, okay. You also played in a few series as well.
Yes, yeah. So back in 2020, this is like right before the shutdown. I think we shot like the pilot episode of a show called The Apartments.
Yes.
With, by Maria Robles, brilliant writer, director, and it was awesome. It's won a few awards, I believe, and entered into a few festivals, and I will be forever grateful to her. That was like the first like leading role in a series that she cast me in. So, and then recently this past summer, I was on a web series called Dark and Lovely.
Yes.
Yes. That one is currently out. We're releasing episodes out every other week. Episode 2 is out now, by the way, y'all. So check it out on Facebook.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like, do you know the girl, the show Girlfriends? Do you remember
A
that?
girlfriend? No, not
Okay.
no girlfriends. No, not kind of my type thing. You know, you would.
Okay, well, it was a show back in the 90s, I believe, maybe
Okay.
early 2000s, but it had Tracy Ross. And it's kind of like that. It's like a group of like four girlfriends, black women, and talking about like some of this like social, cultural issues of love, life, and these four professional black women. So it's a good show. I would definitely check it out if y'all can.
You recommend it for people to watch it.
I highly recommend it.
Okay then. Okay. So, how was it for you when you first got your first role?
My first role.
I know you must have been nervous.
Yeah, I was.
Butterflies, like it's like meeting your first boyfriend. You know?
That's a good analogy.
Right? Ain't it? Butterflies, nervous, you start sweating for no reason. You're like, I'm up next. Hold on, wait a second.
Yeah, it's like you just hope you don't mess up. You don't forget a line. You know you're blocking, and yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember my first role. I will say, oof. I don't
Okay,
know.
well, tell me what was it like? What was the feeling when they gave you that first role? What did you
I mean, very, very exciting. I mean, when I got into acting, it was by accident that I kind of got into acting.
okay.
So when I got my first role, it was just like a validation of all the hard work that I put in with acting classes and studying and going on a lot of auditions, and just being on set and being there with cameras and lights. I love it. I love it. The energy of collaborating, of producing, creating something. It makes me feel alive. So yeah, that first role was very nerve wracking,
Yeah.
but once you're in it, you kind of just settle in and enjoy the ride.
Right. That's kind of like like when you go into audition.
Mhm.
You got the same butterflies flying around your stomach. You like, am I going to get the part? Am I going to do fine? Am I going to skip a line? Like, it's very nerve breaking.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when auditions were in person.
Oh,
It's like the distraction of being in the waiting room with all the other actors and trying not to compare yourself to everyone else who looks like you, and then going in the room with the casting director, and you have all these other like agents in there, and the client. It can be very nerve wracking. So I will say one thing I do like about the whole COVID situation with acting is that everything is recorded now. Everything is taped audition. So it's kind of nice, I guess.
so you get to sit in like a reel.
Exactly. Yeah. Most auditions these days, I would say like 90%, they're all taped. Unless it's a callback, maybe they'll send you like call you in person, but most of it's like a taped. Yeah.
Wow. I've done some acting, but I've got the director where he said, we're going to kind of freestyle it,
Okay.
and I was comfortable with that one because, huh?
Like to improv?
Improv. The whole thing was improving. It was so good. I loved it.
I have a lot of respect for people like you that can do that, because that I love improv,
Yeah,
but sometimes I need structure. But so yeah, if you can improv a whole thing like that,
yeah.
that's
I did,
awesome.
I
So, yeah.
did I did a movie called Don Hazer the Gangster, and I played a lead gangster. I was a motorcycle, a gang member, and I had
Mhm.
my crew. So I had to improv. Everything you see on that movie is improv. So he kind of like said, "Okay, this is what I want. This is what the storyline's about. Make that character." I said, "Okay." So I was. It was easy for me because it was kind of like my lifestyle. I'm a biker. I love bikes, so it was normal to me. And to come out with to improv, it was so easy. He said, "Well, this is the part we're doing. This is what I want said. But if you can get it close to it, it's good, and I just loved it. I said, man, we need more directors like you.
No,
Because
it's been very freeing too. Yeah.
yeah, because like this a movie that we're trying to work on, and the script is like 100 pages, right? So I'm looking for like my part, right?
Yeah.
And I see all these people first before me, and I'm looking, and then when my part comes, I'm like, okay, I got a few sentences. I'm okay with that, right? Because I have a problem remembering. Like I got to read over it to remember it, you
Mhm.
know. And then I keep reading the script, and I got about 25 pages with my name. I said, oh my goodness, how am I going to remember all this? I can't remember all this. And it was so funny because, the director was like, well, you're one of the main roles, so you need to remember. And I said to him,
I remember.
I said, can I improv? And he said, you might could do that and some, but we need, kind of word for word. I was like, holy crap.
Mhm.
So, acting, I give mad respect to actors because it's not easy to do. You know,
Thanks.
it's not easy to do, especially when you have to play another character that's not even you, probably the opposite of you, right? You got to know everything, how they feel, how they eat, how they breathe, everything. You got to know that character. And on top of knowing that character, you have to learn the lines. And if you have a major role, if you're one of the main characters, you really have to put in a lot of work, a lot of time in reading the script 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 times to get it right.
Mhm.
So it's not easy. And I respect all actors for doing that. So, and I know because I'm an actor as well,
Yeah.
but, you know, so I play like different characters, and I love the acting because you can play a villain and get away with it.
Exactly. You get to be so
You
many
can, yeah,
people, you know?
right, yeah,
You
and you
can
don't get in trouble, and you don't get in trouble.
know you have an excuse to be someone
Right,
else.
yeah.
No, you're
So
you're
right,
completely right. It's like a lot of emotionalizing. My acting coach tells us like emotionalize and personalize and like really becoming this other person and allowing yourself to be that other person. So it can be like people who don't know about acting, they think it's like you said, they think it's easy, but
right,
it can be very hard to be vulnerable and to go to like the deepest parts of like humanity and
yes,
like dig really deep into some dark stuff or emotional
yeah,
things and then being able to take that off after you finish your project. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard.
right,
So being an actor requires a lot of honesty and vulnerability that
very.
a lot of people don't realize.
Let me ask you this, because I ask all actors this, because I caught myself doing it sometimes. Have
Okay.
you have you ever had a conversation with like a normal person and found yourself in character?
Hmm.
I mean, we always in character because we talking. We all, but like a role that you played in, and you found yourself being that person talking to one of your friends.
You know what? Right now, I'm actually working on a character for an upcoming, a new
Yeah.
like a new web series. So
I
I, I
love it.
have tried it out. I have tried it out. This character I'm playing, she's like a boss. She's like, have you seen Scandal, or do you know the show Scandal?
Scandals. I haven't seen it, but I've heard people talk about that series.
Yes, with Kerry Washington. So she's like that, but she doesn't take any crap. So
Mm,
I'm typically like, if you know me in my day to day, I'm like nice Becca. I'm a nice person. That's how people know me. So
right.
tapping into like the nasty,
The
the
nasty side of Becca.
exactly. So I've been
Mm.
able to test that out a little bit. Yes, I will say there have been times where I'm yes.
So, what do you love most about the acting side of it versus the directing or producing part of the filming?
Ooh, that's a really good question. What I love most about the acting part, I think it's just learning about a different person and someone that may have a different life than me, and finding the commonality. Because I may play a cop, I may play a murderer, I may play like a bad person, good person who has a completely different life than I do, but we're human, right? So
Right.
tapping into the humanity and finding the similarities and realizing like there's nothing, it could have been one little thing separating me, Becca, from the lives of these other people. So not judging,
Right.
um, being able to explore myself, being able to grow as an artist. That's what I love most about an actor. It stretches me. I love to be challenged with things
Yes.
I've never done before. Um, and just learn and crafting a story. I love stories. So
Yes.
that's what compels me most with the acting side.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I write. Right. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot my first film this year.
Yeah,
Right. I'm going to shoot my first film this year.
congratulations. That's
Thanks.
awesome.
I'm a director, producer, and I'm an act in it as well. But the challenging part about that is getting the right angles, right? Because you got to get the right angles and shots for a film. And because it's my first film, like I know because I went to school for filming
Mhm.
and for podcasting, so it's kind of similar how you move the cameras and what shots you're looking for. So I can't wait to see the results of it because I think I love the directing part instead of the acting part because I'm creating.
Yeah.
I'm creating something and bringing it to life, and I love to write. I mean, and I love stuff based on true stories, but fiction as well.
Okay.
Because when it comes to fiction, I can make up stuff. I'm real
Right.
good at making up stuff.
Yeah.
So, I just want to see how this film is going to come out. And
What's it about?
well, I had two films, right, that I'm thinking of shooting. I have one that's based on true events, which was about stuff that happened a couple years in Chicago where they were finding bodies with missing organs.
Oh, yes, that's a big issue. Like a
Right.
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Right. So, but the key the thing that caught my eye about that incident that was happening in Chicago was that whoever was doing it knew what they were doing because the cuts on the bodies were like someone professional, someone that was in the
Surgical, right? Like a
exactly,
yeah.
so that caught my attention right away. So I had my pen next to me and some paper, and I just started writing on it,
Mhm.
and I came up with 36 pages in like one day.
That's awesome. Wow.
So I took my mind,
It's just
went,
flow.
it just started flowing, and I just started writing stuff, woo 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 woo, and started adding characters to it as I was writing, and blah blah blah. So I have that, and then I have another one based on my life,
Okay.
you know, um, how I grew up and just to show the world that people could change. People kind of judge you from your past and for who you are today, and I have that problem. I got a strong character. People kind of judge me for what I look like instead of opening the book and find out who I truly am. Versus, oh, let me look at his Corey record and oh wow, this guy was, oh my goodness, no, no, no. And I just want to kind of telling the story that this is how I was brought up, right? Which wasn't easy. My life wasn't easy coming up as a kid. Then split it to when I was a teenager, where I got into all the crazy stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then at the end, show them who I am today.
Hmm.
So the process of me growing up, me getting into trouble, and being able to change my life around.
Sounds like a good journey, and I think a lot of people can relate to that for sure.
Right. Right. So that's what I'm still thinking about which one I want to try to film first.
Oh, they both sound great. Oh my gosh, especially the organ trafficking one because I just watched a documentary on that, and there's a whole market behind that. Like
Yes.
people all the way on the top who are involved, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, you just said it for me. But with that being said, right, I just want to say, because what we don't see happening doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right.
And stuff like what we're just talking about, and sex trafficking, this is real, people. This happens every day. Probably right now, as me and you are speaking, someone is being trafficked.
Oh my
Or,
gosh.
you
Yes.
know, so when we talk about these type of movies and bringing them out, there'll be a lot of people interested, and there'll be a lot of people mad. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's exposing something that's been underground for so many years.
Mhm.
And when people talk about it, they usually just talk about it, and then it's gone. Nobody talks about it anymore.
It's gone, and it's also interesting how some people aren't educated as well, or they don't they think of the stereotype because it's interesting you mentioned that. I know Bo may have mentioned it last time, but I wrote a script on it was inspired by a Netflix documentary, but it's revolving around like the themes of human sex trafficking, neglect, and all of that. But yeah, you're right. A trafficker can be your next door neighbor. It can be the mailman. It can be the
That's
judge.
right.
It's not the stereotypical person you think is from like the bad side of town. No,
Right.
oftentimes they're people who look like average,
Yeah.
normal, everyday people, and you would never imagine it's happening right underneath your nose.
Right.
So these are real, incredible issues that need to be spoken about more and more for sure.
Right. And bring them into life with the film,
Mhm.
and show people that this can happen. You
It
know.
can, and it happens easily, especially with social media and kids online these days. Like these guys, these predators, they are very slick with like getting these young kids, especially if they're in a not so good situation at home already. So
Right.
it's important to just make a lot of people aware of how easy it can be and like things to look out for and just have conversations. Hope at the end of the day, that's what I would love to do with any of the films I make is just allow people to like talk and have conversations and be human in debates and
Yeah.
open up to each other.
Right. Right. Because that brings me to missing children, missing adults. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they missing. We know they're missing. They're posting them up. How do we not know if they're being trafficked? That people. Sometimes we find the bodies. Sometimes you never find their body. You don't even know where they're at. So we don't know if that has to do something with that part of the world where they're being trafficked or they're being used for organs, and then because when you got that type of power, you can
Right,
make anything disappear.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that I was thinking in my story, that okay, what if all this is connected?
Hmm.
You know, the women that live in the streets, like prostitution, that end up missing, are they being used for prostitution, or are they being used for this and that? You
A lot
know,
of times it's all of the above, you
all
know.
the above, exactly.
Mhm.
So that's that's it's sad to say, but it does happen in our country a lot,
Right. Uh,
and 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 we need to expose it. Good writers like yourself, write great stories about it, and expose those type of things, because the stuff I see today on TV, it's just don't make any. Not that it makes any sense, but I'm not interested in that. I'm
mhm.
interested in what's really going on in our world. You
Yeah.
know, Ukraine, what the Ukraine and Russia's going through. Talk to me about that. Write me a story about that.
Mhm.
Or how you know what we went through. Our ancestors went through back in the early '60s and '70s. That's what I like to see.
Right. Yeah, definitely seeing stories with people that reflect you and your life is important. You know what? That's actually why I got into screenwriting.
Really? Really?
is, yeah.
Awesome.
So I've always been a writer. Way before the acting and all of that. I would just write poems and like short stories and things like that. I got into acting when I went to college by accident. Like I said, I was actually going to be a psychologist. And
Okay.
I told my mom, hey, that's not going to happen. But dropped out. I almost dropped out, and she almost, I
Yeah.
would not be here. Let's say talking to you if I dropped out.
I'm glad you listened.
So I finished. But yeah, I fell into it because I had to, for my degree, I had to take an elective, and I signed
Right.
up for drama, and I fell in love with acting. Um, but then I realized just working and like going on auditions at the time. Now things have gotten a lot better since a lot of diversity initiatives have
Yeah.
happened, but before then it was really hard to like get certain roles, or especially here in my market, it's very commercial and they have a type, they have a certain type. And if
Yeah.
you're a minority, you have to fit a certain type of minority,
Yes, I get it.
So
It happens here. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
it happens
And
everywhere.
it's
Yeah.
really tough here to get in that industry. Being brown
Hmm.
or black, it's how you're right. You have to look a certain way. Sometimes you even have to talk a certain way.
Yes. I think
Okay.
yeah, you have to talk a certain way, body shape a certain way. So I'm just like, you know what? Why don't I just write it? I'm tired of like
Yes,
not. Why don't I just create my own opportunities? So
that's
that's why I
right.
just started screenwriting and really learning that, and I fell in love with writing. I love writing.
That's right.
It's my passion.
You
Okay.
know, writing is it's amazing because you can take your mind to a world that
Hmm.
man, so far, and come up with some great stories, man. And that's why I like fiction stories because I can just make up stuff, you
Yeah, you're
know.
creating a whole world. It's like
Yes, like
bring
the Matrix.
like
Hey, we all in. I'm out here for real.
I mean, we could be in the Matrix right now. I don't know.
I
So
don't. Hey, I don't even know, but if sometimes it feels like I'm in the Matrix, I'll tell you. So um, producing. So you produce. What
yes.
What do you love about the producing side of it?
I love bringing people together to make magic, to make movies. It's fun. I just actually wrapped up a project last summer. We're in post production. Actually, been viewing some final edits. My friend and colleague Diana Abusela, she wrote, directed, executive producer short, and yeah, just like getting like the DP and the cast, the crew,
Yeah,
coordinating schedules. I love the whole thing of like managing a project and seeing it
yeah.
come to fruition from like the script all the way to like post production and edit and onto the screen,
Wow.
for many people to view and watch.
Yeah, I don't know about the producing side for me, man. It's a lot of responsibility. You got to make sure everything's doing. The cast is ready. Everything's it's too much. I like the directing or acting because directing, you're the boss. Nope, I don't like it. Cut it. Next. Let's do it again. You know what I mean?
Definitely
Producer got to be
important to
there.
know your lane. Yeah, you definitely need to know what you like. I agree. Like if you know producing isn't for you, stick to directing and acting. Like do what you
Yeah,
love.
yeah,
That's a common issue when I was first coming up and working on sets, is just seeing people wearing too many hats and get really stressed. And when you're doing everything, it's some things fall through the cracks. So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't mind learning it, but
Hmm.
at a pace because it's too much.
Hmm.
It's just too much when you're wearing so many hats. You know what I mean? And you got to be here, you got to be there. The director's going to be a little late, so you got to take over and direct, to produce. It's crazy, you know. So I think the acting and directing part would be good for me. Um, Now that I'm gonna start shooting this first film this year, I'm gonna see how it goes. You
Yeah.
know, I'm hoping for the best, but like you said, things can happen. Um,
Preparation. That's, you know what? The biggest lesson I learned is
Preparation.
pre-production. That is key
Key.
to having a nice, like hopefully successful production is prepare. Like,
Right.
so do everything you can ahead of time. Have meetings with your department heads, with your cast, your crew, rehearsals. Like, make sure everyone's on the same page and
Right.
communicating.
Right.
And that you'll have a good shot. That
Right.
happens. Yeah.
Fact, right.
Mhm.
Actors are easy because I know so many actors that's been on my show that they're easy to. Hey, I'm shooting a movie. You want? Yeah, you know. So the actors is the easy part to get.
Good.
It's creating everything else,
Mhm.
and because it's my first film, I have a friend of mine, Jennifer Dawn. She's done plenty of films. She's going to consult me, help me do the
Awesome.
first, tell me exactly, what I need to do or not. I know the distribution part and all that other stuff. She's going to guide me through it, probably help me get all that other stuff going. So I really am excited to see it come to life.
Yeah.
I that's my thing. So how many have you put out any movies yet? Have you directed any movies yet?
Haven't directed yet. So I'm working on a project right now that I'm hoping to direct. It's a short I wrote. Ooh, when did I write that? I wrote that in 2017, 2018. It's called Andromeda Jones, The Goodbye Tour. And I'm writing it as a feature right now. So it's going through some revisions, and I'm hoping to direct that one next year.
And what is and what is it about?
Okay, so but I want to be appropriate. Like, is this like
Listen, it's all you on the Don Big Show. Everything goes, girl. You know what
uh,
I'm saying?
so like, can I get this PG-13? Can I
No,
like
no, this is triple O. This is triple OG, triple GGG.
Okay, so it probably won't even be inappropriate, but it's about a young woman in her mid 20s who finds out that she has a terminal illness and she's a virgin. So before she dies, she wants to lose her virginity.
Okay.
And so she kind of goes on this last day tour of like a bucket list with this Uber driver around town, getting into a lot of shenanigans before meeting at her destined hookup with this random guy she found.
Wow.
So, but the moral of the story for her is finding love. So along the way in the movie, she's just learning about like not letting the fear of life, of what ifs, of the fear of failure keep you back
Right.
from living your life. So
Right.
you got to live it now. There's no time to waste. Live your life now. Be happy, love, and learn your lessons.
Wow, that's awesome. You
Thank
know,
you.
do what you can do today and not wait for tomorrow because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Hey, that is the truth. Tomorrow,
Okay.
tomorrow. And I used to be like that when I was younger. I was so insecure when I was a kid.
Really?
Well, I mean, I guess I still am a kid, maybe.
You're silly. Stop it. Um, stop hiding behind that screen. Let Becca out. Okay.
Oh my God! Look, I feel old. I joke with my friends all the time, but they yell at me like I'm not old, but I feel it in my bones sometimes. Look,
Tell me about it, okay? And I work out. Uh,
I used to be very like just so afraid to try new things. I was always like wanting to stay in my comfort zone and my
right,
safety zone. And that's just not a way to live life. Like chaos, that's a lesson I learned. Just chaos is always around you. Like things are always going to happen. And you just have to be willing to step into the unknown and jump forward and be okay. You're going to be okay.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. I think that's a lot of people's problem is they get in their comfort zone. They get too comfortable and don't want to proceed the vision and be stuck there for a long and figure out why am I still here? Well, because you haven't proceeded, you haven't moved forward, you haven't been out there working, and you have to step out of your comfort zone. I say that all the time, right? I do my podcast shows, right? And I
Mhm.
bring people like yourself onto the show that I meet through other people.
Yeah.
But I also leave my comfort zone. I go to shows. I go to celebrity boxing. I go to movie premieres and I meet major actors, producers, and those are the opportunities that you can't let go because you never know what director's looking for a person like you. You might walk into a premiere, right? You was invited to a premiere. You just going there to support or whatever. Director might see someone or be writing something and see you and say, "Wow, that person right there fits the description of the person that I need for my movie."
Right.
Right? So you never know where opportunities are going to be right in front of you. You got to be willing to, like you said, step out of the comfort zone, go places, go to these shows, um, introduce yourself, what you do, what you love to do.
Network. Yeah.
Networking is the key to
Yeah.
success, right?
Mhm.
And I always say we all got goals, right? And even if at the end of this ride we don't get to where we want to get to, right? Or be as successful as we want to, at least you can look back and say, well, I put 100% in it. I
Yes.
did my best.
I tried. Yes.
I tried, I tried and I didn't get to where I wanted to, but I got to look back and look at all these amazing people that I met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Along the way. Um,
And that's part of it. It's just like the journey. Like
yes.
it's for me, I don't know, the more I've realized it's not just about the destination anymore. Like I do have a destination I would like to reach, but
Right.
it's the journey, the
It's
people
the
I'm
journey.
meeting along the way, the connections I'm making, the life lessons I'm learning, and yeah, that safety spot we're mentioning is that can also be a dangerous place because if you're staying in this nice little box, you're not growing. And if you're
Right.
not growing, then what's the point? And you gotta
Right.
like you may get stung if you step outside that box. You might fall down, you might get hurt, but guess what? Get back up. That's part of life. Life
Right.
there's pain and love and goodness. It's all part of life.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And it's a story, I mean, everything in your life is a story. And
yes.
if you're a writer like you, man, you're always going to find something to write about.
Exactly. You get your best material.
Okay, you're your best material.
Seriously, from oh my gosh, yeah, my friends are so funny because there's scenarios with them and just in life, like that's where you get your material as a writer. And if you don't experience life, how can you write like really good stories
Right.
and bring your own emotional depth and humanity to it? So you have to live life for me to
Yeah.
write about it. A lot of the stuff I write, I pull from my experiences. Yeah.
Right. And those are the best stories. My sister loves that show Lifetime.
The
Like,
the channel, the Lifetime.
yeah. I said I hate it because most of it's based on true stories, but I hate my eyes when they water or I'm dropping a tear when I'm supposed to be this, strong guy at the house. My sister will be like, "Look at you crying." I'll be like, "It's touching me. It's
Well,
like
a
I can
strong
I
man
can
can
associate
still
with."
cry.
Right, right. I'd be like, I feel it. Like I feel the pain. Like, I'm human. Hello.
There you
You
go.
know.
Exactly.
So she starts to laugh, but Lifetime is like if you got a soft heart, guys, do not watch Lifetime because you will tear up. Okay.
I mean, you know what? Lifetime also has some like those like crazy movies, like with
Suspense, yeah, suspense drama movie. Yeah, I love those.
balls, all that stuff.
I love it. I love it. I like the suspense ones when you think it's one person and it's actually the husband or the wife doing it.
Yes.
I love those type of twists. When they do that.
Oh yeah, when
Um,
they interact.
who are some of the actors or actresses you would love to work with, and why?
Ooh, that is a hard question. Oh
That's
my
really
gosh.
easy.
All right. First on my list for actresses, Viola Davis. Like
Okay.
she's queen. I call her Queen Viola. She's a force to be reckoned with. Like
Right.
everything she does, she brings her heart, her soul. It is just totally raw. I would love my dream to work with her. Before she passed, it was my dream to work with Cicely Tyson as well.
Okay.
As the OG original
Yeah. Yeah.
Sydney Poitier, like all these like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
grew up watching a lot of like what is it, TCM or TMC, like Turner Classic Movies and old
Oh,
westerns. So like I like a lot of these older classic Hollywood actors. Um, who else? Actor Idris Elba, because it's Idris Elba.
oh, okay.
Look, I mean, all my any ladies out there watching this, like, come on, Idris Elba, seriously.
Okay, 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 okay.
Who else? Film wise, I will say, for as far as director, Ava DuVernay. Writers, there's this great writer. He wrote this show called Rectify. It was the most underrated show, or like just underviewed, I think. But it came on a few years ago on Sundance, and it was one of the best written shows I've ever seen. Like as far as acting and just writing and story, I can't. Ray McKinnon, that's his
Ray
name.
McKinnon.
Screenwriter Ray McKinnon. Um, yeah, that. Oh my gosh, there's like a plethora of people I would love to work with. Selma Hayek. Um, who was I watching recently? Who was I watching recently? I can't think of her name. She's an English actress, and I can't think of her name right now. It'll come to me. But I like to work with like just actors who tell good stories, like who are in movies that are like just incredible human raw stories. I love dramatic psychological thriller kind of stuff. That's really my genre, my realm that I stay in, but
Yeah,
in science fiction, sci-fi.
sci-fi. I love some sci-fi movies. You
Yes.
know, it's funny that you didn't say, you know, any major names like Denzel Washington, Keanu Reeves, um, you know, Sylvester Stallone, none of these guys, Al Pacino.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Yeah.
wee.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's like, ooh. I would love to play with them if they would had like a soprano type of movie. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they play the bad guys well.
Did you see Heat?
Come
With
on,
Al?
girl. Hey, girl. What you talking about? Gangster movies? You know, I done
Right.
seen them all.
Seriously.
Scarface, Heat. You know, I done seen them all. Yeah,
Yes.
he was a great movie.
That was an amazing movie with two greats like Al
Yeah, yeah,
and Robert De Niro. Yeah,
yeah.
seriously.
That was so dope. And you know, it's funny that we're talking about Al. I met his stepmom that was married to his father Al.
Mhm.
Miss Catherine Corbett Pacino. She's from Los Angeles and she resides in Las Vegas as well. I met her in a premiere out in Las Vegas, and I actually met her, you know, face to face. We had lunch, and I met her husband Bill, which is a great guy. We worked with Reels of Cowboys. Reels of Cowboys are like guys like we talked about, like the old Western stuff, like
Mhm.
with you know um, what's John Wayne and those type of guys.
Right.
Back he worked with them, so it was amazing to be in a room with all those legends, you know, and herself there. It was amazing, and now I'm thinking of going to Vegas, and I want to see if I can meet up with her and see her again. She's so dope.
That's awesome.
You know, but it's funny that we talked about Al. But those are some of the actors that I would love to work with if I had an opportunity. You know, um,
Denzel, would that be your number one, like in line?
yes,
Yeah.
Denzel, Ice Cube, you know, the Wayne brothers. You know,
Ooh, Mahershala Ali. I would love to work with him. The Wayne
oh,
brothers. Oh my gosh, they're funny. Yes.
okay. I'm probably a little older than you are. You know, so
I
there's-
remember their show. I used to watch their show like
yeah.
when I was a young little whippersnapper. I was
Will Smith. I would love to work with Will
Will
Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
You know, and
He is so good with character. Like
oh
he
man,
he gets into character. I started the movie King Richard
mm,
with Serena, about Serena and Venus, and their dad is just, man, he invests in a role and he goes full. I love actors that do that. I love watching actors who invest completely into that character and that role, and it's like you're not even, you don't know it's Will Smith, you don't know it's Leonardo DiCaprio or Denzel. They're that person to you. So just that commitment is amazing to watch.
Right. And tell me, how did you and Bill Thompson meet up? Did you guys meet up at a movie set or on a set, or how'd you guys meet?
Yeah, so Bo and I met in acting class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we took the same acting class with Michelle Condrey, React Studio, and at first, I think if you're watching Bo, I'm sorry, I'm remembering. We weren't really like friends in the beginning. We were just like two actors. We sat in the back of the room in the same row together, and I just remember him as the guy who would watch himself on like playbacks. Sorry, Bo. Um, and then I found out he was a writer because he was talking about a series that he was developing called Night Games.
Mhm.
Really good. And we were on set for another project and we were on break. And I told him about some of my ideas with writing. And I said, hey, can you just read my stuff and give me some feedback? So our relationship kind of just started out like as mentor, just writers, him giving me feedback. Because he's actually worked on, I don't know if he mentioned it, but he worked on Walker. Yeah, he did mention he worked on Walker. He's worked on shows.
Yeah.
He's um, done some amazing things. And I just want an insight as a new writer,
Right.
screenwriter at least, getting into that portion. And we just became friends. We became friends. We have similar, like, we write dark, dark
Right.
drama, psychological stuff. So we're kind of in the same wheelhouse, but we balance each other out very well as well, too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It amazes me how you get to meet people that have the same vision that you have, and different stories but same vision. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's good because it opens your mind to so many other things as a writer. You know.
Absolutely. It expands you and it challenges you to work together and to collaborate as well. That's where I'm very lucky because there's very few people that I feel like I can like truly collaborate with. So if you find a good writing partner, that's a blessing. And yeah, when you can kind of like support each other and think along the same lines, and there may be some things that I see that he may not see, or he sees that I don't see, but again, we're very good at like compromise and like enhancing what the other
Right,
does.
right. So when do you think you'll be um, shooting your first film or directing it?
I would love to shoot by spring or summer of next year. A lot of that with this feature, it's going to come down, it may come down to some funding. So, really submitting for possible grants. There's a lot of local stuff to submit for, and maybe doing some crowdfunding, sourcing. But I would love to shoot something by summer of next year.
Right.
Even if it's not the full on Andromeda Jones, the feature, I do have another short around colorism that I'm really excited to delve into as well.
And would you make it a film or would you make it a series?
Which one?
The
The
one, the one you were just talking about.
the one around like the subject of colorism?
Yeah.
That one is a feature film, but it has the potential to be a series for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I'm going to start first with I might shoot mine as a series just to see the feedback I
Mhm.
get back from the audience and stuff. And if I see a good feedback, then I might shoot the second series.
Is that the one about the organ trafficking or the one more about your like basically?
Um, my life,
Okay.
yeah, and then the human trafficking one, I will probably shoot that whole film.
Yeah.
But I'll see how it all plays out.
That's pretty smart too, especially if you go that the series route and just release it, kind of build your audience, get
Yeah,
feedback, and yeah.
yeah, because I want to make sure that it's a strong message,
Mhm.
and I want to shoot it right. You know what I mean? I want to catch people's eyes from the beginning, from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was stealing cars and just being a bad kid. You know what I mean? And growing up to being a worse kid, to then changing my life to becoming a better man. You know.
No, but no, I love that story because, like you said, some people come from rough backgrounds
Right.
and, people change.
Right.
And sometimes we're, especially now, everything online, what do they call it? Cancel culture.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone's which, you know what, in the beginning, I can kind of understand some things, but we're all human. And unless, as long as you didn't do some atrocious, horrendous thing, I think people should have a second chance to redeem themselves and be better and learn their lessons. And yeah, be productive individuals in the community.
I'm glad you said that because all our lives are different, right?
Mhm.
And I come from a dark side, right? Growing up, and there's people that come from a darker side from where I come from, and these stories I like to talk about because I want people to know that there's people out there that have been through real bad situations from maybe getting beat up when they were small
Mhm.
and and taken advantage of and being raped and didn't really have a choice and when some of these individuals grow up like that and have no friends, a lot of them become serial killers, and it's not by choice. It's because that's they grow up with this anger inside, hating people, and become these monsters at the end. But then you have people like me that been through it, overcame it, and became a good guy.
Right, you didn't go down that route. So it's
Exactly.
yeah. That's an interesting but like the psychology part of me. I love the human mind. I love well, you mentioned true crime earlier. I love true crime podcasts. I love listening and just kind of just understanding why people do what they do. And you're right, like not justifying the horrible behavior because
Right.
there's
Right.
no there's no justification for like
Right.
killing people or hurting or
Right.
like whatever. But it's when you look at the seed and where they grew up and how they were nurtured and a lot of the commonalities actually if you look at it with gangs or terrorist groups or the KKK or whatever,
Yeah.
some of these people who are in there, some of them are just outright evil, but some of them
Yeah.
were just vulnerable people in society and they were isolated and they didn't have friends and they didn't have family and they
Right.
didn't have anyone who would take them under. So it's like you have this group, this organization that stands for horrible things, but they say, we'll be your family. We'll
Right.
love you. We'll take care of you. And at the heart of it, human beings, what do we want? We want love. We want
Right.
need. We want shelter. We want those basic needs. So
Right.
a desperate person may be willing to like sign up for those bad organizations.
Yeah.
Again, they made a choice. I'm not justifying the actions, but
Yeah.
we all have to look at the whole thing holistically. We can't just look at one little section. We have to look at
Exactly.
the whole picture of what makes a person
Exactly.
a person.
Exactly. And the same thing I say about when things happen and people go to court, versus another victim or whatever. Like, okay, you committed a bad crime and you're being judged on it, but you got to look at the other side too. Like, what prevented that to happen? You know what I'm saying? Because you can be a good person. You can be a person that never had any problem in your life,
Mhm.
right? Straight student, agent. Something might cross you where you have no other choice but to defend yourself, and God forbid you end up killing the person. First crime ever. They don't look at the good stuff that you've been. They just look at what you just committed. So they paint you as a big monster because you committed a crime. But in reality, you are a harmless person. You a good person. Everybody knows you. you're good, you're a college student, you just committed a crime because
Mhm.
who knows? You got put in a position where your back was against the wall and you had no other choice. It was either you or him. And I'm not justifying nothing. I'm just saying if I get in a situation when a person is trying to kill me and I know he's trying to take my life and I end up killing him or whoever, then how do you explain that? How do you get out of that? Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
people people have been put in those situations. So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people that commit crimes ain't really bad people. They just put in situations where you might not have a choice, and you have to defend yourself. But then, so me personally, I look at both sides of what's going on before I judge a person because there's a lot of criminals. I mean, a lot of people in jail that are there doing life, really, some for no reason, or some because they just made a bad choice.
Yeah.
They decided to do, and I'm not justifying what they did, but we got to look at all that. And I like to write stories about that too.
Right. And that's why it's important to tell those stories and like to write from your, write the stories you want to see, write the stories that you feel like would make an impact in your community and
Yeah.
bring positive, discussion for sure.
Yeah, homeless is a big issue here and not just here in my city, but all over the world. And a lot of people, a lot of countries are getting funds, 3 point something millions to help other countries, but let's help our people first before we. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't help anybody, but look at where you at first. All the problems that we need to handle in our country before we go help other countries and give
Mhm.
all this crazy money, 36 point something $1 million, but for COVID, for
And I
COVID.
agree. I think it's as long it starts in the community. So
Mhm.
I see that point too. And I think it's just all of us in the community, like we all have to do our part and we may
True.
not be able to have global change, but like just your next door neighbor or just being kind and like that's one thing I will say I've been trying to work hard more is just like connecting with people. I think that's why there's so much like division is because we're not even talking to each other. So I think it's important to like talk to your neighbor, get to know your neighbor, get to know people who look differently than
Right.
reach out to like your local food shelter or like um, whatever like there's like domestic abuse shelters or women's shelters, men's shelters, like go
Yeah.
volunteer, go be in your community. And I think if everyone can do their part in some way, you're helping to change your world, your
Yeah.
little. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree to that. I agree to that. So, um, what else would you love to do besides acting, directing, producing? What other field would you like to play in?
What other field? Okay, so so I would love, honestly, I can see myself once I get everything from acting, I can see myself being like a crime scene investigator.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. I love that. I've always wanted to go to school and become an investigator, but I was just getting too much trouble. I was more in the courthouse than in school. In school,
You're on the other side of
yeah,
it.
Jesus Christ,
No, yeah, I would love to go back into. I love psychology. I still love like the field of psychology, it's like a forensic psychologist.
yes,
That was actually going to be my plan. I was supposed to get my license to either practice or I had a dream of working for the FBI and being like a profiler. I love that stuff.
okay, yeah, yeah, I like it.
But yeah, so either that or I'm very passionate about my yoga practice. I teach twice a week. So that's something I can easily see myself just promoting more, just peace and love to people. I think that's what we need more of
Yeah,
right now.
definitely need more love.
Yeah.
One of my great shows is Law and Order.
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay.
love Law
Wait,
and
which
Order.
which one? Like, There's like five like different like spin-offs. Like
I love them all. As long as it's Law and Order,
okay,
I love them all. You know the one with Mr. T playing it.
yes, SVU. That's my favorite one. I love
Yes,
it. Yeah,
yeah, I love those. I love those shows. You know, and it gives me ideas too. You know, it helps me come up with more ideas as a writer
yeah,
and what I want to really put out there. But you know, those are amazing things that we can create as directors and and actors and stuff.
Mhm.
But I want to wish you the best. I want to thank you for coming on the show. You've been great.
Thank you so much.
Um, and I want to thank Mr. Bose Thompson for making this happen. And I can't wait to see your film in the future. You
Thank
know,
you. Yeah, hopefully we're producing two this year, gearing up for some more next year, and yeah, it's going to be a crazy year, but it's amazing, and I feel blessed and lucky. So thank you so much for having me on here.
thank you for coming aboard. Thank you for coming aboard the Dawn Big Show. My co-host in here, but I know why he in here. He got a problem with me when I'm done. He
Oh
watching the
yeah.
Yeah, he watching the Celtics game. He said, "Oh man, I don't feel too good." I know why you don't feel good because you want to stay home and watch the game, but I get him later.
It's okay. If the Cowboys were on, I would be watching.
Oh, but you're a Cowboys fan, okay?
Hey, I gotta represent. I gotta.
Oh, you okay? Next question. Okay, so give the viewers your where can they look you up for future events or anything like that or
Yeah, on Facebook, I'm Becca Spencer. And on Instagram, you can find me under the underscore Becca underscore Spencer. So reach out and connect. I would love to help any way I can. And I'm going to give a shout out to
yes.
someone. Well, thank you, Bo, for number one recommending me, but also I want to give a shout out to a filmmaker in Dallas called named Calvin J. Walker. He's the one that really gave me a shot when I was first starting out. Didn't know anything about being on set. I asked him like, "Hey, can I just come on your set and be an assistant and learn?"
Right.
And I worked for free a lot on sets because I just wanted to learn what it took to make a film and to do it right. So he gave me a shot. He's given me a lot of opportunities on that side. So I credit him for a lot of things that have opened up for me and things I've learned. So, okay, you should, that's another person you should speak to, by the way. And to my friend Sapphire, my best friend.
I think she's on now.
She is.
Samo, I can't see
Oh,
Samo.
Samaru, Sapphire Samaru. She's
Samo.
like amazing. She's a sister. She does a lot for me on social media because I am not the best social media person, but I'm learning.
Okay. Welcome to my world.
Well, see, I feel like I was probably supposed to be born in like 1950. I think I'm from another.
Man, well, you and I got so much in common. It's unbelievable. You're scaring me right now. Okay. Yeah.
Well, what do
So,
you guys do?
so
See the comments.
is she an actress as well, or is she a director?
She actually does a lot of social media managing,
Okay.
but she's a lover of the arts. She's an incredible human being.
I can imagine. I think all of you guys are amazing. Mr. Thompson is here as well. Um, I love Mr. Thompson. He's funny. I think he should be do a lot of comedian type of
He
acting.
is funny, and he comes up with it on the spot. Like he's just so like he's so fast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So I want to thank you again, Becca, for coming on. You're always welcome here. Any project that you want to put out, you want to promote, just let me know, and we'll bring you back on the show. You can talk about it, promote it, put it on our page and share it. I can share it with my other
please.
friends that got talk shows, Mr. Mike Wagner, Shauna Gibson, which is related to Tyrese Gibson.
Okay.
Her sister, his sister got a talk show. She's a great friend of mine, and we got some other friend of mine that got talk shows in Chicago. Brantley Martin. She's awesome. Kay Shoyer from Brooklyn. So I'll connect you with them so that way you can expand more and put yourself out there. You know, people know who you are and what you do for work. And networking is the key. We talked about that earlier.
Yes. It's
And the
so
more the more interviews you do, the more people know about you, they know what you're doing, and they look out for your films and stuff like that. So
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah,
Yes. And please keep me in the loop on your projects. I would love to follow and promote as well on my end. So I'm
well,
excited.
I'm an amateur, so but you know, once I get it going, I'm definitely going to be posting up some of my filming stuff. Not everything, but maybe a few things like to keep the people
Yeah,
aboard and active.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
we're all amateurs until we're in it. Like everybody starts somewhere. So you
Yeah.
just gotta put your best foot forward and keep it
Yeah.
moving, and you're gonna get where you need to be. Just trust that. So
Oh, trust the vibes.
trust
Trust the
it.
vibes. All right. So thank you, Becca, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. I'll see you again
Okay.
soon.
Have a good night.
You too.
Ciao.
Bye.
Yes, everyone. That was Becca. She is amazing. Becca Spencer. Make sure you guys look her up on her social media. I want to thank Mr. Thompson for making this connection. She was awesome. Thank you for connecting her with me. She was great. I like her vibes. Definitely a down to earth person. So thank you so much for connecting her with me. And you guys have a good Easter. Have a good night. And big shout out to everyone that tune in, everyone around the world that supports the Don Big Show. Remember to tune in on YouTube, the Don Big Show. You can go to Paranormal Network Post and you can check out the show in on Facebook Live and you can watch the show. Either network, you can watch the show, share it, like it, tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend to link on the Don Vic Show. And again, everybody's welcome on my show. If you had something you want to talk about, you have a talent, you're a singer, you're a rapper, director, whatever it is you want to be known and get exposed, this is the show you need to be on. All right. With that being said, big shout out to my co-host for not being here today. I'm sorry. Big shout out to my co-host, IG, my son Stacks from Stacks in the City. And you guys have a good night. Peace, love, respect. I'm out.